Hey everybody, it's Matt with Bardic Inspiration, and as promised, here is the Acererak miniature painting video. I've had this miniature for a really long time, and I didn't really like the paints that were supplied with it, aside from one, which you guys have heard all about. I'm absolutely obsessed with Cursed Gold, and this box gave that to me. It's a really unique miniature, and especially if you're going to run Tomb of Annihilation, or if you're just a really big D&D fan, Acererak is a must-have. Up front, I'll tell you there's two main takeaways from this video. First of all, I'm mixing contrast paints for the very first time, so we'll see how that goes. And secondly, I'm going to show you guys how I work through making a mistake. I hope you guys are excited because I'm really happy with the end result. Like I said, it's a really detailed miniature, the robes are awesome, the staff is sweet, so we're going to mix these contrast paints together and see if we can create a shade in between. I'll also be using just standard Blood Angels Red because it's awesome. Now for this first step, I didn't mix the two paints together, but I will be layering them over top of each other. The reasoning behind this is that the Apothecary White will lift the shadows even higher before we put that Skeleton Horde on, and if you've ever used Skeleton Horde before, you know that it can be pretty thin. So the Apothecary White doesn't make a huge difference up front, but you'll see the effects of that later in the miniature. So in this next step, I did mix Apothecary White and Golem and Flesh. Now this is for all of the skin bits on Acererak. Next up, we're mixing Talisar Blue and Shyish Purple. And if you remember any of our last videos, you know I'm not a huge fan of the Shyish Purple, but I still want to use it and see if I can find a way that I can enjoy using it. And as always with contrast paints, these things go on so easily. They cover super well, even if you're just using it as a base coat and then layering over top of it. You can also tell the effects of mixing the paint because Talisar Blue is a much brighter blue in general, and using that purple tone really darkens the robes. Moving on to the Blood Angels Red that I'm using for all of the additional cloth bits on the miniature, and I've made a mistake. Now I haven't realized this yet, but I've just put Blood Angels Red on the staff of Acererak. It's not supposed to be red. So once past Matt realizes his mistake, I'll show you the steps that I took to counteract the problem. It's easy to get frustrated when you've messed up on a paint job, but I want to stress the importance of not stressing yourself out about it. I think it's really easy to let a single mistake discourage us and keep us from, continuing. But the wonderful thing about painting these miniatures is that there's always something that you can do, there's something you can try in order to fix whatever that mistake might be. And if you can't fix it with a paintbrush, there's always paint thinner to strip it for you. So a little progress update for you guys. There's the finished robe pieces and the Apothecary White over the miniature. Now I'm going back to fix that issue that I made on the staff. Since I used the Apothecary White over the staff in the first place, I was able to take a white paint and paint over those areas of red. Now red is a notoriously vibrant pigment, and it's hard to get it to fade away with white paint. So after applying a few layers of that paint, I went back over with that Apothecary White until it was at least manageable. Focusing on that staff, I realized I wanted to darken the skin bits a little bit, so I went back over just with the Skeleton Horde once again, and it gave me the desired effect that I was looking for. Now on to my favorite pigment, the Cursed Blade from the Army Painter. The only metallic bit on this miniature is his necklace, and it's not really the focal point of this miniature, but either way with Cursed Gold, you're going to love the way it looks.
You're going to like the way you look, I guarantee.
Now after using the Skeleton Horde, I thought that maybe it would help hide that last bit of red pigment showing through on the staff, and just like that, it's fixed. The staff and the headpiece are supposed to be the exact same color, so I did the exact same process to his headpiece. Now before we move into the final reveal of the miniature, I've got two things. First, I want to show you the reference photo that I used for this model. It's very different than the box art, and I decided to do that mainly because I no longer have that box art. And from what I remember, it's very monotone. And secondly, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, take a look at that like and subscribe button down at the bottom, hit the bell, all the yada yada that everybody else says. But really, it helps our channel grow immensely, and I can't thank you enough. Now let's do a final reveal of Acererak, the Lit. No, the demi-lich? Is he the demi-lich? So overall, I think it's a pretty clean looking miniature. A lot of the colors stand out from each other. There's a little bit of a blend between his face and his headgear, but there's enough color difference that I'm satisfied. Now, like I said at the beginning, there are two main takeaways from this video. First of all, mix your contrast paints, see what you can come up with. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's a little not great, but experimentation is how we improve. Secondly, don't let mistakes keep you from finishing your miniature. It's almost inevitable that you're going to make a mistake while painting, whether it's getting paint somewhere you're not supposed to, or dropping the miniature 40 times. The important thing is that you learn how to move past it and just improve your skill. If you can do those two things, you're going to do just fine. Like always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take care.